back room in the classroom, and she's talking about doing all this stuff, and I'm thinking, okay, I thought that was done. I'm not sure what all that is, you know.
Okay, and that's why we want to talk about that because okay, there's the email campaign, and an email campaign is those series of emails that go out automatically based on the uh, sequence and the frequency that you want them to go
Right.
out. Like
Right.
on those 30 emails, they go out every day, one day after the other. So it's basically a 30 days of hitting the prospective prospect or client up with emails. Okay. That's what a campaign is. And those can be 3 emails, there can be 2 emails, there can be 1 email, it can be 30 emails, it can be whatever it is, but that's automated and that happens automatically. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Newsletters, on the other hand, are not. You have to design those each time you send one out.
Well, she
Okay.
had stuff in there that she went from, and I don't see anything in
Yes,
our
and
back office.
you have to each and you'll if you're on Carlos's list, you'll get these all the time. And because I've helped so many people, I get them all the time from other people, saying, "Hey, the webinar's coming up," and so forth. But she gives you kind of a what do I want to call it?
Template.
It's not a template. It's basically the email, right? So she gives you the email each time she's going to do those. You've got the email, and I think she typically gives maybe 2 or 3 emails. A day before, an hour before the same day, and so forth. Okay, and those sequences of emails, you can you could it in a situation where you weren't limited on how many campaigns you can have and things like that. Let's say you upgraded to the 27, or like LW is on Kajabi like me, so we can do as many as we want, right? So what you could do is you could make a sequence out of that and then send those out. The challenge with that is with a sequence you can't tie them to an event. So in other
Mm-hmm.
words, you can't say send this one out 2 days before the webinar and things like that. You can say send it out immediately when someone opts in, and then the next day and so forth. So what most people do is they copy and paste that template or that, and I don't know why I can't think of the word, but that script into an email, use that
Mm-hmm.
subject, make sure the links are going to the right place. Like if there's she usually has a Zoom link in there. So you use that Zoom link, and typically they're pretty much copy and paste, and you may have to choose a few things. I haven't done one in a while. And then you send those out, and you send them out based you when you do a newsletter, you can send them out at a certain date and time, so you can
Mm-hmm.
schedule them, and that's what you want to do.
Okay.
If we just went through one on Thursday, you would, let's say, send it out on Tuesday and say, hey, it's going to happen, on Thursday, and then you send them out on Wednesday saying, hey, it's coming up tomorrow, and then on Thursday, hey, it's happening today, and da 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 da, right? The number of people that you send out to in your list, okay, and you can, this it's designed to go out to the people on your list, right? But if you're tricky and fancy, you could create a page that captures their email and then sends it to them, if they're not on your list. So let's say you put a post up and you just tell people, hey, we're going through a great webinar. Learn how to make 10,000 a month with only 2 hours a day. Don't make it. Don't say that, but because that's a little bit ridiculous. But click here and send them to a page that captures their email and then registers them or gives them the link to the register, and then you send out an email to them and so forth. There's all kinds of different ways you can do it.
Okay.
Um, but that is prior to the email, but prior to the event. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Once the event happens, so example, last Thursday, she did her, last Thursday. Yesterday, she did a webinar, right?
Right.
How the webinar happens, okay? You you assume somebody has shown up, right? Whether they have or they not, or you assume they didn't show up, but you want to give them the replay because it's just like when you go live on social media. A majority of the people that watch your live are people that have come after the live is over.
Yeah.
Okay, so that replay page, okay, is allows you to now send that out with the most current replay. So I'm gonna share my screen here so you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay. So if we go to the digital growth community and we go to the free webinar,
Mm-hmm.
Michelle S put this page together for the replay. Okay. And
Okay.
it's just digital growth dot mykajabi.com/get you started. Get started. Okay. And this is the replay. And this is where I get it. I wait till she puts the new one up, then I download it and upload it to my system. And as soon as I do that, everybody gets the new version that has
Okay.
purchased that page and I've set it for them. Okay. But you'll notice there's a button here. And this button, if I
Yes.
click on it, does nothing. Okay. Because it's not a tailored page to you for you. So it just says get started now, get back to the person that invited you to watch this. Well, if I'm sending that out to people, it may be a good thing, and it's much better than tying it to a YouTube channel that people are going to go look at that YouTube channel instead of yours and so forth. But they may not know how to get to your page. They may not
Right.
know how to get to where you're going. So I would never do that. I think it's a great thing that they've offered people, but Carlos came to me. Well, actually, I went to Carlos and said, "Look, I put this together. Is this something that you might want to use?" So what I
Mm-hmm.
did was I put this get started page together in System.io that now is tailored to you. Okay, so when I click on this button, it takes it to my ready page where they can sign up, do whatever they want, get all the information and so forth. Right?
So is that what you did with mine as well?
Absolutely. Okay.
Okay.
And LW, you've got, I believe I did that for you also. Okay. So
And that's in the system of the videos that
this
you
is
put in. That's
this
one of
is
the
in
emails or
system,
whatever.
it's in System.io. Okay.
Okay.
So in this case, and this is my account, but and I would then send an email out maybe the day after, like today, I would send an
Mm-hmm.
email out, and I got one from Carlos and from Cindy Dillahunty and a handful of other people that I've set up, saying, "Hey, check out the replay if you were unable to get there." Right. So
Okay.
they sent out what's called a newsletter. Right. So they just made one. They went over here and they said create a new newsletter. Um,
Did
and
that. I was following all that, but she had stuff to go from, and I have nothing on mine to pick from as far as that is concerned. Mine's all blank. I have nothing in there that I can go from to create a newsletter or an email from my whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you wouldn't because you haven't created a newsletter yet. So
Right.
you would just go up here on yours,
Okay.
and you would just go here to create.
Okay.
And I would suggest using the classic editor instead of
Right.
template or anything else. And then you would put a subject, and she talks about maybe what kind of subject to use, who
Right.
your sender name in here,
Okay.
your email in here,
My
and
email or my website,
no, you're going to put your sender email address.
which is my website address, email address, right?
Yeah, yours is okay. You guys,
Ann at Digital Daily Pay, Daily Digital Pay with Ann.
well, yeah, but you okay. So I'm in your account now. So if I go create
Mm-hmm.
here's Ann Barnett, and if
Mm-hmm.
I look at yours is digital. Yes, Ann at Digital Daily Pay
.com.
with Ann. Okay.
Now, where do I find that email? Where does my email from there? Where do answers come into?
Well, if someone when you when you go in here, when you save this now and then write your email. So when you hit save, okay, it puts this email in here, and then
Okay.
then you come in here and you write your email. Hey, da 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 da. You know, here's the replay. Whatever she gives, I think as a template or however. Or wait till you get one from Carlos and go, oh, okay, I'm gonna copy and paste this and just change it to my information.
Okay.
Something like that, right? I haven't put any scripted ones or templates together for those or anything like that. But when you send this out, it's gonna if someone replies to it and has a question for it should go to Ann at dailydigitalpaywithann.com.
And that's through the Microsoft one, isn't it?
I believe it is, yes.
Okay. All right.
And we may have did a forward to a Gmail or to another account for you. I don't remember exactly, but okay. So, but what you're really, and I'll delete this test so that you have it in there. But what you're really trying to get is for them to go to your sales page, your that ready page, and then purchase, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's the whole idea of it. Now, I'm finding that there are a number of people that are using this as a almost like a sales page now because it takes them there. Now, I don't recommend that because you're not capturing their information, right? But
No, yeah, I usually post, that's what I've been doing is going to my website where
yeah,
they can put in their email and put in their information and
right.
go to the, yeah.
And that's what you really always want to do is
Mhm.
capture their email. Your email list
What
is the
is the
most.
page that told you about the person? Which page was that on your website? You just showed that your picture and it talked about you?
That was just my uh, version of this page here.
The get started. Okay.
Yeah, that's just
Okay. All right.
that's mine. But it's probably the same information that's on this one, I believe, that I just kept the same. Oh, I didn't put my
Okay.
picture, or my back, but because I don't use System IO for my system. I use
Yeah.
Kajabi. Okay. So, but it's the same thing. If I go to my Kajabi and I put in get because I named it the same, get started.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one that I would give to people.
Okay.
Okay. I just haven't put my information in here, at this point, to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I did this for you, I think, LW.
Yeah, this page, yeah.
So, but the cool thing about it is the program I use for the video
Mm-hmm.
is a program called Voomly, VOOM.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and it's one of Russell Brunson's programs, like ClickFunnels. And what it allows me to do is, I can come in here to these webinar replays, and I can just go up here and say replace it, and upload the new one right over top of it, and everything stays the same as far as when you go into this page. I don't have to update it for anybody. As soon as I update it here and get it all updated here, the next time someone goes to your get ready page, it's the new one automatically.
It goes across the board then.
Yeah, it goes to everybody because what I've done is
I'm on my webinar. What's up?
I've used this script to put into everybody's page, and as soon as I update it, that script is the same. It just automatically updates it, so I don't have to worry about it. Okay. So, does that make sense, Anna? Does that make
As
sense?
far as where everything goes and how it's sent, yes.
Yeah.
I was just trying to figure out, the biggest thing is, and you go through these videos, she's showing what she does. I have no idea how to pull things in and put things out, whether it's like those videos on the bottom of the Get Started page, those
Testimonies.
stories of their, what they did and stuff. I don't know how to pull those off of the videos that we have to choose from and put them in an email or put them in something for somebody to look at.
Yeah, that's another whole, you're right. That's
Right.
your brain's going down a good path, but that's just another whole, I don't want to say can of worms, but that's what marketing is. And that's why,
Right.
there's so many people that get into the digital marketing arena
Mm-hmm.
and want to experience those cool results, and even if it's only selling one of these a month or whatever.
Right.
But the technology has to be in place.
Right.
And it's like anything else. Yeah, I'd really like to have a Tesla, but I'm going to have to learn how to use that computer on the Tesla and use all the things. Now, for me, that's really cool because I love it. But
Right.
that's part of it. Okay.
Right.
You can't. Now, there's two ways it can be handled, right? One is I can hire somebody to do all of that for me, right? And please, not me. Okay. Uh, um, I'm too old for that now. But
I hear that.
I I love doing that. And it used to be that was a majority of what I did was
Mm-hmm.
design websites for people and do all the things that they didn't want to do.
Right.
But I learned a long time ago you can give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, or you can teach a man to fish or a woman to fish and you feed them for a
Right.
lifetime. That's more of what I like to do. I want to teach people how to do these things so they don't feel like, oh my goodness, if I now I got to pay more to get somebody to do this and to do that. If I could only do it myself. Now there are some people that have the money and that time is precious to them, so they just pay someone to do it. And I can certainly
Mm-hmm.
always recommend people. That's just not what I want to do at my age anymore. So but I
Okay.
do want people to understand how powerful those webinars are. Webinars are probably one of the, I would say, either one or two most profitable marketing techniques that you can use. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just getting out there and building content is number one. If you can put content out online and create value and build that rapport, that know, like, and trust with people, that's by far number one. But webinars, I've seen people over the years, and I know we've done webinars in past businesses that have um, generated a lot of income in the
Mm-hmm.
six-figure numbers. So
It's learning the keys to the kingdom we have basically, and which key works for what venue, and
yeah,
that's what I'm
but I
learning at this
think
point.
so many people get overwhelmed because there's so much. And
Yes, that's where I was at. I go in and
well,
out of that. I take a day off. I process everything, and then I go back into it. I'm not giving up. I get frustrated, but I'm not giving up. So I'm going to continue to move forward, but I have to take like a day of respite to download everything before I do that.
well, and it's like anything. I said this on, and LW was probably on the webinar I was doing, but Carlos and I were doing something a year or so ago. But I mentioned to one young lady that you just, it's like eating an elephant, one step one bite at a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me and said, "You guys eat elephants?" Um, so no, we don't eat elephants, but um, the the reality is that if you look at the whole picture and see, okay, here's the whole picture, what I need to do,
Right.
the chances of you moving forward are very slim.
Yes.
But if you look at the little piece and say,
Yep.
here's what I got to
That's what
do,
I found.
I gotta right now, I gotta understand exactly how my funnel works. Don't care
Right.
about the emails, don't care about anything. I gotta understand what the funnel is. Here's the URL that I promote with. Here's what happens. And how do you do that? Once if and I think I've set up all of it. And I set up yours too, right? Yeah.
Yes.
And
Oh, Anna, sorry. I'm sorry, Anna.
We have Ann and Anna.
Oh, yeah, both Anna and Anna.
Yeah,
You can call me Annie if you need to. That way it's differentiated
Okay.
if you need to. That's my nickname.
and we can't. I was gonna say I could do AB, but you're both AB.
That's
Oh, for
right.
crying out loud. Oh my gosh. That's right.
How funny is that, right? So, um, once your funnel is set up, the most important thing you can do is go through it yourself. Put your name and your email in it, check it out, make sure you're getting the emails, because I'm getting emails. I still, I think I've gone through Anna's fully the 30, but um, I still get most of the emails of the people I've set them up, right?
Hmm.
So I'm always checking them, making sure the links work, and I didn't screw something up along the way. But more importantly, the people I set them up for, the clients I have, they need to do that. So they know the experience that the people that they're sending it to are going to go through.
Right, right.
The other thing is that, and I would set one of my products to $1. Go into Square and make it $1, and go into, and if you make it $1 on Square, then I think that's all you have to do.
Mhm.
And then buy it for $1 so that you can see the process and make sure that everything is going away. And that way, when your client says, "Hey, I purchased and it sent me here and I don't understand what I need to do." Oh, well, that's where you pay the $39 so you can get but you know exactly what's going on, right?
Right.
Okay. And I would venture to guess that out of the 52,000 people that are in the digital growth community there, um, probably less than 10% of the people do that, even go through it and check it out, right? And
I'm too afraid to screw it up.
well, and then the questions, then the frustration comes in because they look at it. I bought, and now I want to be here. I want to be one of the testimonies. I want to be one of the people making the money. Well, if you look at most of those people that have made the money, kind of regardless of what their story is, they really do know what's going on.
They went through the process. They
They
went
went
through
through the
the stage.
process, and it wasn't like they just fell off the out of the turnip patch and boom, yeah, it's kind of frustrating for me sometimes because I try to let everybody know. LW has known me for a long time, but he's known me also in the path that I've taken online, a lot of it because we work together. So for me to say, well, yeah, I woke up one day, decided to get involved, and look, I'm selling them like crazy. Isn't this cool? You could do it too. You don't have to know anything. It would not be true, right? I mean,
Right.
because I already know all this stuff, and yeah, I'm still learning every day, but I know enough where I can start and go and start marketing and start,
Right.
promoting and do things. So you've got to get to that point. It's not going to. I promise you, you're not going to be able to do it 2 hours a day when you first get started. You may
Oh
get
no.
to that point.
I spend far more than that a day,
And
and
it's going,
that's because I
no.
want to learn.
Yeah, yeah. And if anybody tells you that, shame on them. They shouldn't because it's can you get to that? Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's the maintenance style. That's the maintenance level. Is when you're doing your 2 hours a day to continue the maintenance on the
Yeah.
program.
I mean, I know people that are making 7 and 8 figures a year and don't work more than 30 hours a month.
Hmm.
But they've been doing it for 10, 13, 12, 13, 14 years and things like that. It didn't happen overnight. It took them a while to get to that point. But if in 2 years from now, 3 years from now, you're only having to work, 4 or 5 hours a month or a week and you're making 100 or $200,000 a year or $60,000 a year. I mean, wouldn't that change a lot of people's lives?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
an extra 1,000 would change my life at this point.
Well, and that's I think where people are missing the mark to a certain extent because we see all these testimonies where people are making tens of thousands of dollars, but we don't see any testimonies where, you know what, all I needed was an extra $500 and this program taught me how to make that.
Right.
Because that is 80% of the people out there. That's the real target market. If you could sell this to people, even the 300 or the 100 or the 600, not the high end 900, but if you could sell like the 300 to people and say,
And
look,
see,
yeah,
that's where I'm at.
yeah,
I
let's
said
get
I
you
could
to
do the
sell one
100,
of those.
and then I could do the 300.
Yeah.
And I upgrade later, but I said, this is all I can start with. And
Yeah.
if that's it, and it takes me a year or two, that's fine.
Well, but it's it's about meeting people where they're at, and
Right.
if I can get you to, if you come in at the 300 and I say, hey, let's sell 300, let's get somebody on it that's in the same place as you, that
Mhm.
can purchase the 300, learn how to, and where you really want to end up is at the point where you don't have to sell these anymore at all.
Mhm.
Right? Because guess what happens? Let's say you're at the 900, right? And your goal is to sell two 900 packages a month.
Mhm.
It's $1,800 a month, right? I promise that is life changing for a lot of people,
Oh yeah.
most people, right? But what happens and in July, and you're going along, you're doing that, but in June, oh no, it's summertime and you only sell one. What
Mhm.
happens? Okay, well now you're down to 900. And there's no backup on that. Okay. What would be a better situation is if you learning from the course, learning from the what you're doing and the teaching and everything that's going on, that while you're learning, you're selling these and getting some money in, but you're creating your own community, your own course, your own products, so that now you've got like a monthly community. And because you really built up your email list and you've got a good rapport with those, I know one gentleman that I was talking with about 8 months ago, and he's like, "Well, Ron, my email list is only 1,000 people, and I make multiple seven figures a year." He doesn't have 52,000 people. He doesn't have 100,000 people. He doesn't have 10,000. He has 1,000 people, but he has a community that's $100 a month, 250 or 500. They got three options. And
Mhm.
because he's created such a rapport with them, almost every single one of those 1,000 people pay the monthly. Well, if all 1,000 did the 100, that's $1 million a year right there.
Mhm.
Some of those are doing to 250 and to 500. And he does one mastermind a month for 4 or 5 hours. And then he puts up he records videos and puts them up on a weekly basis out there. And he
Is that
jumps in,
RH?
and he's what?
Is that RH
RH?
from the business we used to be in?
No, no, this is
Oh,
a guy I just,
because I know he does that too.
yeah. And a lot of people that I'm finding now that the big solid earners and legacy earners out there are in that position where they've decided, hey, I don't need a lot of people. I just need the right people. And then
Right.
then I've got that residual coming in. Now I don't have to worry about, oh no, I didn't sell any, because guess what happens if he's making $100,000 a month and one of those members decides, oh, I'm not going to pay the $100 anymore. What does he lose that month?
Not much.
$100, right? Okay. Not such a big deal. But if he has to sell a $900 product, two or three of those, if he loses one, that's $900 that he's
Right.
lost, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
it's a much bigger place to be in. So this is a good segue into learning how to build up your own, maybe a community of people that are targeted, that you want. Maybe they're iguana killers, and I want to I can talk to 500 of those people, and I'm gonna charge them $50 a month for those 500 people. That's what, $25,000 a month.
So you can use this not just to sell these packages, but say I'm a cat lady. That's my whole. Everyone knows me as cat lady. I love cats. I can make a community, an informative community, or something like that, and charge to be a part of that. Is that what this
Absolutely.
is? That the other venue? One of the venues?
Well, you can excuse me, you can sell this program as you make 100% commission, yay, sell this program and buy this program, and you can get it, and the people you sell to will be the people that all they want to do is sell the program.
Right.
Most of those people never go through the course. They never learn how to market right. They get frustrated because they don't, right? And so they don't learn what's in there. right? It's like saying, okay, I'm going to let you go out and sell, tuition to a college,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't have to go through the college if you don't want. You don't have to learn to do it and everything, but I'm going to pay you if you do, right? Well, the people that are the most successful are the people that learn what it's
Right.
for. So for me, I very seldom will promote the program and tell people about the 100% commission.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What I want to tell them about is the power in taking the course.
What did it see? To me, it's the process that you go through these things, through these classes.
Well,
It's
it's
the
what you learn.
process it's been changing me.
Yeah, it's what
And
you.
that's first time.
Yeah. Well, and then it becomes, and the side note is, hey, while you're learning this information, so that you can do, and I pick on LW because I know you saw the iguana. He goes out with his buddies and they shoot iguanas every so often.
Oh,
And
jeez.
I don't think they eat them, but
Well, yeah, they're edible. That's why I found the picture of them.
but he could build a whole community on that of people
Mhm.
and charge them, $25 a month or something like that, $20 a month, and have some masterminds and put some videos up and just put his knowledge of doing this out there and go in the community and hang out with them every so often, answer questions they have and so forth, and make a good living at residual income on that and make a good living. At 20 bucks, if you got, 500 people at 20 bucks, that's what, 10,000 a month, right?
Wow.
So at 10,000, whose life wouldn't change at 10,000 a month? And all you'd have to do
Mhm.
is, work a handful of hours every month, right? But most people don't know how to do that. So the course will teach them how to do that. That's why
Okay.
my tagline is I teach people who have a passion that want to take it to profit so that they can do what they love for the rest of their life. Right.
Hmm. That's good.
And that's for 98% of the people, it's not trying to sell somebody else's package for $900 or $300 or $100. I mean, that's great, but what fun is that? I mean, that's not, I don't know whose passion that is.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the people that you see that are making a bunch of money in digital, and it's a small amount of people, but there's a good amount of people, and if one person can do it, then any of us can do it. But they've got other income coming in now because of that. That is
Right.
more in reference to what they love to do. Because I guarantee you, all of those people aren't, their passion isn't. I want to get on and talk about digital marketing every day. As much as I enjoy that stuff, that's not my passion. My passion is what I'm doing here right now, teaching
Yeah.
people how to take what they love in life, whatever it is, you know. But if you
And to
don't know,
me, I have the love and I have the want. I just don't know how to get to it and how
and
to
that's
set
what the
up a
course is.
website and how to set up
Yep.
a group and all that.
And that's what the course is good for. And if
Good.
if you if you sell people to that, if you know what that is, and then it's
Mhm.
like, okay, I'm talking with LW and I say, hey, you can do this, and you're going to learn how to, take your iguana passion online and make some money and everything else. Hey, oh, and by the way, I forgot to tell you about this. If you get a lot out of the course, you can sell that course for 100% profit too. Right?
Wow.
Now, instead of it being the primary thing, it's an add-on that says, "Oh, I didn't know that." Yeah, you know. So now when I'm doing a video and I'm talking about, hey, here's the things you need. I'm getting ready to, put another video up on my YouTube, talking about the three main things you need to get your YouTube videos where they need to be, right? Your thumbnail, your title, and just these old timers. It just went out my head. But
Bio?
no, and I forget.
It's
But
all right. Don't worry. I'll let you go on this one.
the reality is that you once you oops, now it's gonna make me crazy.
What's
Thumbnail,
it doing?
title and description. Oh, the first 5 seconds, right?
Oh, oh,
Okay,
Oh.
so and and I know somebody just did something on this a little bit ago, but I've been planning this long before that she came out and got the script written and all that stuff. But the reality is that when I'm talking about that, I'm going to give you intersperse call to actions all along the way, and that's why I use YouTube and not TikTok, because I want long form videos, and I'm going to say, hey, by the way, if you want to learn all about this and how to market online and how to really do something that is great on the online spaces, I've got a program that I'd love to share with you. And you could, and it's got, multiple ways to come in, and it might be exactly what you need. Just go to rondeering.com/blueprint or whatever I've named it, right? So I'm going to do those call to actions along the way, and then I'm going to go, okay, but let's get back to the training, and then I'm going to train and give them some more information and teach them. And so they're sitting there going, wow, this guy is just teaching. He's giving me all this free stuff. I wonder what his paid thing is, right? But if all I'm doing all the time is pitching, buy, come on, get this thing. Look, these people made a lot of money, and everything. Then I look like every other person out there.
Like a carny or a hawker. Yeah.
Yeah, and
That's
if you
what I
go,
don't want to be. That's what I
you
shy
go,
away from. The
well, if you go
hyperness
out to
that
TikTok,
put out there.
if you go out to TikTok and just start doing this,
Yep.
you're going to see that there are a ton of people out there just doing the same thing, right?
Mm.
And I'm not saying that that's not, and you might, make a few sales that way and everything, but you want to make yourself unique. You want to make yourself something that people are looking at and going, I just saw Anna's, live, or I just saw her video, and oh, she gave so much value in that small amount of time. That is awesome. I can't wait to see what she does next.
That's
But
awesome.
if it's all about, hey, I so and so made this money and made this money and made that money, and because the first thing I'm going to ask you, if I see if I communicate with you and you said, yeah, I made $5,000 my first month in the business, first question I'm going to ask you, are you going to give me some of that? Right? And what do they say? I asked LW, he said, no, I can't have any. I'm still waiting for him to send me a stuffed iguana, but
Right?
of course they're not, right? So
Right.
what benefit does it do me the fact that they made $5,000 their first month?
It's like, how
but
do
if
I
you-
get it?
Well, exactly. If they say, on the other hand, if they're going, guess what? I'm going to teach you some things that I've taught these people, and it's helped them make an extra $500 a month. I want to teach you the same thing. Now I've found a guide, someone that can make me the hero, someone that can
Right.
teach me, and now that's important, right? So I want to
Instead
hear.
of the program being the focus, you are the focus teaching the program.
Yes, I become the guide, not the hero.
Right.
If I'm talking about how much money I made, I'm the hero. And
Right.
if I'm the hero, then people don't want to know about it. They want to be the hero. If you haven't, LW, what's the name of the book?
Pardon?
The book I always recommend. What's the book? Building Your Story Brand. Okay. If you have not read got this book, Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller, I will tell you, it will teach you everything you need to know about marketing. And he talks about, it's called Building Your Story Brand by Donald Miller. Easy read. I've read it. I'm on a third or fourth time now, and I continue to get things from it. But he lays it out in a very, very concise and easy to understand 7 steps, right? You have your hero, and he relates it to movies. You'll never watch movies the same anymore. It will destroy you when you watch movies now. But Star Wars is a good example, right? You have your hero, Luke Skywalker, and your hero goes through a disaster, right? So Luke Skywalker, they kill off his aunt and uncle, they blow up his business, everything. He's gone through a disaster. In walks the guide. Who's the guide? Obi-Wan Kenobi, or as my grandkids call me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Okay.
Obi-Wan.
So in comes Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan Kenobi is not the hero. He's the guide. The guide has a plan of action. And this plan of action to Luke Skywalker is you need to learn to become a Jedi warrior.
Right.
Then he gives them the call to action. Come on with me. There's no use you staying here. Come on with me and let's go. And then he tells them, okay, if you do this, here's the good result, right? The Rebel Alliance will win. Everybody will be free. If you don't do this, the Empire wins and we're all in slavery again, right?
Mm-hmm.
So those are the 7 points to his framework. And when you know that, all of a sudden, now you realize that, wait a minute, me telling everybody how much I made, I'm the hero. I don't
You're,
want to be the hero. I want to be Obi-Wan
you're the
Kenobi.
Empire.
Yeah. I want to be Obi-Wan Kenobi, right?
Right. You want to
So
be the rebel.
yeah. So to do that, I've got to now talk about my heroes. I got to know who my hero is. I got to know what their challenge is, and I got to address that all the time. So he
Mhm.
talks a lot about in that book is your target market is the challenge people have and the solution that you have that ties into that.
Mhm.
If if the challenge I'm trying to for some odd reason trying to reach people who want to learn Chinese cooking, I don't have the solution to that. I'm not the guide, right? Although I can
Mhm.
cook Chinese food, but I can eat it a lot better. So the reality is that if the people I'm going to pick on LW again, if the people that I'm dealing with are people that want to go out and be a part of the iguana cleanup crew and learn how to do this and learn what they need to do and everything else, then yeah, man, I've got the solution. So now I can target that. I can become the guide to help them to become the hero in their own story.
Right.
But if
Right.
I'm the hero in the story all the time, nobody's going to want to come around.
Right.
Now, the influencers out there that are talking to 100,000 people, guess what? You tell enough people that eventually, how many people of that 100,000 do I need to jump on board for it before I look like I've made a bunch of money, right? But for
Right.
the normal person, the rest of us that are just starting out and trying to get it, we need to focus. We need to know exactly who our audience is.
Mhm.
And once you know who the audience is and what's going on, then you can start making sure you get them to the webinar, making sure they get the webinar replays, make sure you are speaking to them. And when you're doing your content, you make sure you're speaking to their challenge that you have the solution for
Right.
and giving them that solution.
Mhm.
I love this. When I was with another program, I sold a bunch of them because what I would do is I would take one of the modules, might be a module on email marketing or something, and I'd do a video and I'd say, man, I was going through this course today, and the one module on email marketing was amazing. Let me share with you what I learned. And I was giving away the farm essentially, telling them, oh man, and they talked about doing this and you can do this. And boy, it's really changed and helped me in my email marketing and everything else. It was amazing. But I want to give if you really want to get into this, go to rondeering.com/blueprint and check it out because if you like this, the rest of what they've got in there is amazing.
Oh yeah.
And if you stay tuned, tomorrow I'm going to tell you a little bit about, the module on social media marketing or whatever, right? So you're always giving out value, 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 not just
The
pitching.
lead in so that they come to look at the rest of what's going on.
Well, they want to look at you as a guide, right?
Right.
And again, if I was serious about, I want to I will tell you, we have grizzly bears here, not iguanas. So we have grizzly bears.
Big
And
ones.
and I don't want to go shooting grizzly bears. I've come across grizzly bears in the mountains and they're not very happy. And when you shoot at them, they get less happy. But if I was moving down to Florida and I really wanted to get into that, who would I reach out to? Somebody I knew that was a guide. I'd reach out to LW and say, hey, this is, I want to talk to you about this because I know you're the guide. If if the guide never tells anybody that they're the guide, it's the old saying, right? You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So if you're not telling people, you're not sharing with them and presenting yourself as a guide by giving out value and teaching and doing those things, then people are never going to look at you as the guide. And then it just becomes a crapshoot, right? I'm on TikTok,
Right.
I'm sliding through, oh, that person looks kind of cute. I guess I'll go with them.
Right. Exactly.
I'd never get a sale. It's like, yeah, I'm just an old gray-haired person with no teeth right now. So, but that's
Hey,
not the
I
case.
can't see the teeth through your mustache, so you're good.
That's why I keep it. I'm starting to let it grow right over my mouth, so you can.
Right.
So it's not. You just you've got to take it small pieces and learn.
Okay.
And the best thing that you can do as far as the marketing side of it is by taking action. Be
Okay.
stupid. Be terrible. Don't, I mean, some of the videos I did back in 2009 when I really started doing videos online, which back then they only stayed up for like a minute anyways. It was Periscope we were using. And I'd do a
Mhm.
video and it was there for a minute and then it would disappear anyway. So, um, but they were terrible. I didn't, and I've been speaking in front of people on physical stages for a while, but
Yeah.
I'm really an introvert. I don't, when I'm not doing this, if I go to a store and I see somebody I know, I probably will hide and, go down an aisle or something like that because I'm just not, And I was one of the youth leaders in our church when LW and I were growing up, and even then, I don't remember speaking very often or doing anything like that. So you just the whole purpose of this particular Zoom was not this, but this is important, very, very important. But just understanding that the newsletters are things that you create. They're not templates that but
Okay.
she does give you copy and paste emails that you can use for each time she presents one of those. And you have to send them out and you have to put them there. But you don't know who's registered because it's not set up for you to capture their information. You don't know if they looked at it or anything else. That's the one drawback. But I make the assumption they do. So then I send out to my email list afterwards, hey, you may have missed it. I know you got it, right? That's the thing about emails is that there's no algorithm out there saying, oh, we're only going to show these many people. Everybody gets your email, right?
Right.
Where social media is not that way. It's like 3% of the people that are following you get what you put out there. The key is that replay, because you can send that out 2 or 3 times and get them there, right? And that becomes very, very powerful. And you don't even have to wait until there's a webinar to send out the replay. Let's say she doesn't do one for a month. Doesn't mean in that month you can't say, hey, for those of you who haven't seen the presentation yet, if they're especially if they're already on your email, that means they've already opted in. You don't need to opt them in again.
Mm-hmm.
If you forgot what was going on with us, you haven't seen the presentation, boom, I'm gonna send them to that webinar replay page because it's concise, it's simple. They can see the replay and the testimonies and click on the link and go from there. So,
Okay.
all right,
Thank you. Thank you very much.
makes sense.
Yes, sir.
All right, I will put this recording, get it out there so that people can see the recording. But if you guys have questions, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me, okay?
Well, you know me, I never do.
Now, Anna,
Sorry to talk so much.
do you have the replay page?
The replay page on what?
No, the other Anna.
Oh,
The replay page, I think so, right? The very last page, right? Can you log in? I can log in mine too here.
Yeah, let me look at yours real quick.
Okay. What I did after you had set up mine, I went through every single email, read it through that I know what is there.
Mm-hmm.
And what I did, I put my name. Remember that was
Yeah, the
left
first
out.
yeah.
So I put my name everywhere in. So yeah.
Yeah, it
If you
looks
want
like
to look at it just to see.
you don't have that getting started page, but you did upgrade to 2.0, so you're good to go
Yeah.
on that. So if you choose you want that getting started, the webinar replay, reach out to me and I'll give you the discount link for that.
Oh, okay. So I don't have that there?
I'm not seeing here's what I'm looking at. You're
Oh, okay.
a Berg, right?
Yeah.
So you've got these two, but you don't have the get started one.
Okay. So
Okay.
then you have to set it up then, hey?
Yeah, because
Okay.
that's a funnel that I designed and put forward, and so I normally charge 30, but I've got a $25 discount. So, if that's something you want, let me know. I'll send you that link.
Okay, yeah, I do want that because I have not collect emails yet so much. I guess that's probably why I didn't have reach out yet.
Yeah,
But now I am ready actually to run with these 90 days that Michelle is going with. The 90-day sprint. I already opened my business Facebook page. So I know this. Probably I should do it in a different call, right? You're recording this one.
yeah. Why don't you reach out to me? I will send you the link for that page and then I'll put that in there for you and get it all set up. And then why don't we just reach out to me and we'll have a Zoom, you and I together. Okay.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, everybody.
All
All
right.
right.
God bless.
Good.
Happy
Thank you.
Mother's Day to everybody,
Yes, happy Mother's Day.
except for the two of us.
But you can say it to your wife.
I can. We have
Wow.
6 children and 13 grandkids, so I think that she
Wow.
qualifies. So,
Yes,
all right,
yeah.
everybody. God bless.
Yeah,
God bless
thank you.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.